Huawei had to delay the debut of Hongmeng cell phone due to the lack of microchips under U.S. sanctions. Ren Zhengfei changed his tough attitude, said he focused on self-rescue and harbored no hatred against the U.S.
CCP's official media continue to emphasize the food crisis and the need for better supervision. Meanwhile, incidences of food hoarding occurred frequently. Mainland China had a severe food crisis. People were hoarding food, which suggests a famine is imminent. Look, they're hoarding food.
In the evening on August 29th, a chemical plant caught fire in Foshan, Guangdong, but the cause was unknown. Local firefighters quickly arrived
The evil
for rescue.
CCP trampled on private property rights, oppressed the people, and ruled like a mafia. Although the CCP's propaganda promoted a street vendor economy, the vendors were robbed by urban management officers. They trampled on private property rights and ruled like a mafia. So much for socialist core values built on lies.
Zach Sunny Speaker Vistrio led an 89-person delegation to visit Taiwan, which is the highest level of delegation since the Czech Republic was transformed into a democracy in 1989. Previously, the mayor of the Prague rejected the One China policy and cut off diplomatic ties with Beijing. Later, he visited Taiwan in support of the democratic government. The delegation wore masks displaying the flags of two nations, which were donated by Taiwan during the pandemic. This symbolized a welcome and bilateral friendship.
The new federal state of China continues its coordinated demonstrations across the globe. In Los Angeles, San Francisco, Taipei, and South Korea, protests were launched against the CCP to defend democracy and support Hong Kong. Declaration of the new federal state of China. Preface. The whistleblowers movement brought us together. In order to realize the rule of law, democracy, and freedom in the new federal state of China, we have established the Himalaya Supervisory Organization. During the past 3 years, Mr. Milesguo, Mr. Stephen K. Bannon, and billions of comrades in arms launched the whistleblowers movement. It exposed to the Chinese people and the international community the CCP and its evil nature and its deceptions. The Himalaya Supervisory Organization is a voluntary organization with no political affiliations. Along with the Rule of Law Foundation and the Rule of Law Society, it's recognized by the international community and protected by international law. It's a bridge of communication between the new federal state of China and the international community to defend people's freedom, protect the wealth and security, and establish mutual respect and common development with people from all over the world.
Now we are going to raise the practice. It is the whistleblowers movement that has brought our together. In order to realize the rule of law, democracy, and freedom in the new federal state of China, we have established the Himalaya Supervisory Organization. During the past 3 years, the whistleblowers movement, led by Mr. Milesguo and Mr. Stephen K. Bannon, has exposed the illegitimacy and true evil nature of the Chinese Communist Party. The Himalaya Supervisory Organization is a voluntary, non-governmental organization with no political affiliation of any kind. It is recognized by the international community and protected by international law, along with the Rule of Law Foundation and the Rule of Law Society. It will serve as a bridge of communications between the new federal state of China and international communities in areas of cooperation, defending people's freedom, and protecting the security of assets on the basis of common development and mutual respect among the people of the whole world.
Take down CCP. Take down CCP. CCP, your time is up.
2 meters apart is known to be the safe distance in preventing person-to-person COVID-19 transmissions, but the recent study shows that might not be enough. According to Nicholas Jones, a researcher at Oxford University, droplets from coughing or shouting can travel up to 7 or 8 meters. Further research is needed to be able to draw up specific guidelines for different indoor environments. There are also other factors to consider, such as viral load of the infected person, the duration of exposure, and the susceptibility of an individual to infection.
Okay, let's get you up to date the news at the border. Border Patrol just yesterday arrested 4 illegal aliens off the coast of Puerto Rico. They're trying to cross into the U.S. illegally, trying to smuggle in nearly $15 million worth of cocaine. Look at this United Nations warning. They're out with a serious warning, something we talked about 5 months ago. The transnational criminals, including drug and human traffickers, are cooperating and coordinating, meeting terrorists in prison. They're talking about exploiting the chaos from COVID-19 shutdowns around the world and in the U.S., and also weak borders in order to enter countries like America and commit crimes and attacks.
The United States of America has arrested 2 Chinese researchers on charges of data theft. The arrests have been made in Virginia and in California. In the first incident, a 34-year-old Virginia University researcher was arrested days after he was trying to board a flight to China from Chicago. A routine screening conducted by authorities showed Haizhou who to be in connection and possession of bio-inspired research simulation software that he was not authorized to possess. Now, he has been charged with theft of trade secrets and computer intrusion. In a second incident, a California University researcher was arrested and charged with destroying a computer hard drive during an FBI investigation into the possible transfer of sensitive software to China.
Now, here's the problem. I'll give you some statistics on this. Rasmussen poll comes out late July. What it says is that fully half of America blames China for the virus. And this is even more interesting. 53% of Americans now want China to pay reparations for all of the costs they're imposing on this country. And that's up from 43% in March. And that number is just going to keep rising. And that's what Joe Biden has to face. Now, as an economist, Judge, let me tell you what the back of the envelope calculation looks if we start assessing China with the cost of the pandemic they have infected this country with and killed over 200,000 Americans with. If you look at the $10 trillion of stimulus alone, that's 10. Right. If you look at the loss in the gross domestic product so far, that's going to be on a $20 trillion GDP. We're looking at another $4 trillion. Perversely, the government values a life at 10 million. A life is priceless, but at 10 million and soon to be 200,000 Americans dead, that's another $2 trillion. You add up all the pain and suffering and damages as a lawyer, we're going to lose the equivalent of an entire year's of GDP, $20 trillion, because the Chinese Communist Party
what do we do
lied
about
about divising. It did. Well, that's just why this is going to be such an important issue. The president has already raised this issue with the American people. Biden is in that box. They cut a deal with the Philippines to take over the South China Sea. They squashed Hong Kong behind the chaos of the virus. They invaded India.
Right.
It speaks to the fact that maybe they intended all along to spread this virus around the world. But there's question, and that leads us to the questions about the virus. We know now that there's a high likelihood that it came from one of two virology labs in Wuhan, but we don't know. Was it genetically engineered through this thing called gain of function? Is it a weaponized virus? I can tell you, if nature weaponized it.
And then, courtesy of the Chinese Communist Party, the virus struck. The president quickly took action and shut down travel from China. Joe Biden and his Democrat allies called my father a racist and a xenophobe for doing it. They put political correctness ahead of the safety and security of the American people.
Donald J. Trump Jr. at the Republican convention, I think on Monday night, for the first time on a national platform, really calling out the Chinese Communist Party as the China virus, the CCP virus. So it's pretty stunning. We're going to go back to Milesguo in just 1 second. But, Jack, you've got, on the fentanyl, you had an analysis you did back in 2018 in the midterm elections about fentanyl.
We did, and it was looking at Ohio because Ohio, like many of the Rust Belt states, was heavily impacted by this opioid crisis, the sort of loss of faith in what was going on around them as they watched their industries decline and jobs go overseas. During the entire Vietnam War, the state of Ohio lost 2,997 people. In 2017, they lost 4,293 people from overdoses.
Almost twice as many in 1 year to fentanyl, to opiate overdose, and fentanyl than the entire history of the Vietnam War.
In 2017, just from fentanyl.
Just from fentanyl, it was 3,523 in the state of Ohio. Milesguo, this is we're doing the CCP's war against the world. Miles, before I get to the virus, I got to go back to fentanyl and just make sure, because of what Cotton said and how he said it. Is this just businessmen in China? Is it just gangsters? And is it just people associated with the drug trade that are in business with the cartels, the Mexican drug cartels, that get the drugs, the poison up to the United States? Or is it actually members of the Chinese Communist Party? I think that's what the nation was shocked at. Is it really the Chinese Communist Party involved in this? Or is it just bad actors and gangsters and drug dealers in China are doing this? Is the CCP or just drug dealers?
Sir, yeah, I think this I can guarantee you this in China, is everything is have the Rugen policy last 70 years. Everything belongs to party, CCP. Everything must be listened to CCP, the party. Everything is the party control. So this all everywhere. Every Chinese know, even Jack Ma, even WeChat, even the TikTok, even everything you look at this public company, privacy company is 100% is a CCP control. So even you want, marry, you want, love, you want, you like this, don't like this, must be listened to party. So the fentanyl also is 100% belongs to CCP control.
I will tell you a good news today. Listen, guys. Between the last time I was on this broadcast and now, I attended 3 meetings. One of these 3 meetings was about the future of Taiwan. There will be great missions, great events, and great changes. Remember what I'm saying here today. What you are about to hear at National Chiang Kai-shek Memorial Hall. Regardless of how many people in Taiwan fall for BG1 tactics, no matter how many weak and selfish people the CCP intimidated, I will tell you one thing. On this day, it just happened moments ago. The highest international military organization is preparing for a major operation on Taiwan. If one day you see a group of aircraft flying to Taiwan, if one day you see Aircraft 1 landing in Taiwan, do Do you remember this was the new federal state of China, and you who went out to protest out of the 23 million Taiwanese people? Your quiet efforts made an important contribution in this. During the meeting just now, I told them very clearly, you only need to do two things, and you will absolutely win. The CCP will be like a paper tiger lit on fire before you. This was about Taiwan as for details of the operation. I can't say anything at the moment, but you know what I mean.
你绝对会赢啊！而且共产党的纸老虎在你面前就像一根火柴被点燃这个纸老虎一样，这就是台湾啊！具体的行动我现在不方便说，你们都懂的。
Global coronavirus cases go past 25 million. Brazil coronavirus deaths surpassed 120,000. Russia's coronavirus infection totally climbs to near 1 million. Mexico coronavirus cases rise to 600,000. More than 700,000 positive coronavirus cases have been identified in California, US. A U.S. Center for Disease Control and Protection forecast projects more than 200,000 coronavirus deaths in the United States by September the 19th. Costa Rica's government requests $1.5 billion in financing from International Monetary Fund. More U.S. jobs lost to coronavirus pandemic are disappearing permanently. Thai scientists develop COVID-19 vaccine using tobacco leaves.